You know, it doesn't matter where you start or where you started. It matters where you end up. Boom! What a quote. Sure, many of you heard it in lots of different scenarios. I mean, I heard it this week actually. It just kind of blew my mind a little bit. I mean, so let me start again. I'm not a fan of films that get turned into series. So one of the biggest things I dislike is when that happens. I'm like, oh, it's just an absolute waste of time. Just expanding like the story for the sake of it, and there's no real need to do so. It's just absolute pointless waste of time. But you know, it happens, and yeah, that said, I seem to find myself watching them much more than I think I do. You know, I protest, but you know, to my wife. But yeah, the reality is I end up watching them anyway. One that's captured my humour recently is Lethal Weapon. You know, with Riggs and Murtaugh, and this week it really captured me when I heard Riggs using that phrase when talking to a little lad who'd, you know, had quite a tough and quite sad upbringing in the foster care system that hadn't gone really well. But he just said to me, you know, it doesn't matter where you started, it's where you end up that matters. I was just like, wow. It's just so true. And it was so poignant for me, and it really made me think and challenge me, because it's so easy for us to blame where we are now and who we are now on the past. And all the things that happened in the past, all the things that people did to us in the past, the past. And you know, the reality is that everything that happened in our past does define who we are today, if we let it. It may shape and challenge who we are today, but it only defines who we are if we let it. So I think about the story. There's a really obscure story in the Bible about a man who meets Jesus one day, and it's obscure because it kind of talks about him in the context of, like, you know, he's really small man, you know, the kind of small man that you'd miss if you were in a crowd and you wouldn't even notice him or see him. You know, the kind of guy where actually he's so small he can't see above the people to see a famous or an important person walking past the crowd. So he climbs a tree. This guy Zacchaeus, he's a tax collector. You know, tax collectors in the day were cheats and dodgy and did really bad things and robbed people of money. And you know, he climbed this tree to see Jesus. He deemed it that was what he needed to do. Why was he so desperate to see him? You know, this was quite far into Jesus' ministry. I mean, to be fair, it was only 3.5 years, like, but it was quite far into his ministry. And like, Zacchaeus would have no kind of illusions as to who Jesus was. He'd know what he taught. He'd know what his ministry was. He'd know that he kind of preached this upside down kingdom. You know, the first will be last, the last will be first. He would have known the lifestyle that he was living was not kind of according to what Jesus was preaching about when he preached the Sermon on the Mount and the Beatitudes. He'll know that. So why was he so desperate to see him? Why was he not trying to hide from him so that he would not be seen by Jesus? You know how so many of us do when we like come across Christians and we like, oh, I'm going to avoid that Christian because of the life I live. I'm going to be condemned and judged. But he was desperate to see Jesus. And Jesus rewarded him by looking up and saying, Zacchaeus, I'm coming to your house tonight. Not just for tea, I'm staying at your house tonight. He had a sleepover, you know? And that was a choice that Zacchaeus had made because he wanted to change. He didn't want his life and what had happened in his life up to now to define who he was going to be. He needed to make a change, and he made that choice. And you know, the story goes on to talk about at the dinner table, Zacchaeus said, "Look, Lord, I give up everything half of everything I own. I give away all those possessions, and anybody I've cheated, I'll pay them back 4 times that amount." He made the choice to define who he was going to be. Everything that's happened in our past, every little interaction we've had, every like task we've put our hand to or gained a passion or a desire for, it completely shapes who we are, where we are going. And that's okay. If you've had a good start to your life and things have been good in the past,